they're reporting this will be a higher than regular season for ticks and fleas because of the weather we had in the winter, the lower, the higher temperatures during the winter, and they have discovered a new tick called an alpha gal tick. Now, he wrote, and you can correct me. He wrote, it makes you allergic to red meat.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, red meat, pork, and lamb.
Are you with the tick bite?
It's common now.
Oh my gosh. Well, he writes, is there anything we can do or take?
Yes.
Okay.
First of all, I'm real big on the truth, so I just want people to know the truth, and you can choose to believe it or not, or look into it or research it. And I've mentioned this many times before, but Lyme disease is a man-made disease. It's a bioweapon. It was created out of a laboratory. It's spread through ticks. Let me tell you my belief. You can call this a conspiracy theory. You can look into it.
Hey, they released the UFO files.
Bill Gates is one of the most, if not the most evil man on the human planet. Okay. But they are literally dropping cratefuls of ticks all over the country on purpose to have people get infected with very, very, very high amounts of Lyme disease. And they're claiming it's going to be the worst tick season ever. And you know what's getting ready to come out?
What?
The Lyme disease vaccine.
Really?
Yeah.
You're kidding.
Nope. So everybody's going to get Lyme. Everybody's going to get scared of Lyme, and then they're going to drop a vaccine. And again, this is all, it's the same thing. All of human history. Man creates the problem, and then man provides the quote-unquote solution. And it's all evil, and it's all propaganda. And so my advice to everybody would be, do not for 1 second believe a Lyme disease vaccine is going to do anything for you, especially if you understand that it's a pleomorphic organism that can change and it can adapt. There's multiple strains of Lyme. There's no way on earth they're going to be able to somehow protect you from all the varying strains of Lyme. There's co-infections of Lyme called Babesia bartonella. If you knew anything about Lyme disease, you'd never in a million years take that vaccine. One, because there's no way on earth it's going to work. And two, it's propaganda to sell the vaccine, which is why they are going to make sure this year people get more Lyme disease than ever. Intentionally.
Is there something that this is just off the top of my head, I don't know, but is there something you can put on your skin, like on your feet and lower legs, just in case, like peppermint oil?
Yeah, oregano, clove. I mean, there's different oils that, ticks don't like.
They don't like the smell of it.
Let me give you a couple tips, because this is kind of a big deal. So I just updated our tick protocol for Spirit of Health. Okay, literally just yesterday, I sent a message to our staff saying, here's our new tick protocol. And I'll tell you what it is. First of all, there's a tick remover kit that you can buy from us or from Amazon. It's cheap. I think it's $10 or something.
Right.
And it comes with 3 different sizes of little tick removers. Now, if you don't know this is important, because when I was a kid, there were all these different methods to get ticks out. Remember that? Burn them, yes. All this stuff, right? Okay.
Burn them and they back out.
We've learned you never, ever, ever do that. Because all these methods for getting ticks out will cause the tick to shoot the poison into your body out of a fear reaction, right? Because you're basically traumatizing the tick, right, by burning it or whatever you're doing. So what you do is you get this tick remover kit, and it has these little prongs on it, and you just slide it along where the tick is, and it pops the tick right out. And I mean every time. I've pulled hundreds of ticks off of my children. I pulled a tick off of myself literally last night. I woke up in the middle of the night, had a tick on my knee because I took my son to trail life yesterday, and we were gathering wood in the forest, and we had ticks on us. And so I literally had to get one out in the middle of the night last night. But you just get this little thing, you slide it across, it pops the tick out, and it should come out alive. You don't ever want a tick to die inside of your body.
You don't want the head to come off or something.
Yeah, you don't want the head to come off. You don't want it to shoot, poison in your body.
So if they bite you just once like that one was on you, right?
Right.
It didn't inject the poison.
Well, it might have. I mean, ticks have poison. They're probably going to inject some poison. But if you traumatize it by burning it or throwing essential oils on it, then it's going to shoot. You know, it's kind of like a plant. When a plant's getting ready to die, it shoots up and goes to seed.
Right.
Like that's its last ditch emergency. Like, hey, survival. Right. It's a survival response. So the ticks will do the same thing. So get the tick kit, and then our tick protocol that we just updated. You can go to Spirit of Health or call us if you want our tick protocol. But I include a clay pack recipe. So what you're going to do is get some bentonite clay, mix it with apple cider vinegar and a couple of our best anti-Lyme herbal supplements. You're going to mix all those on a paste. You're going to apply that to where the tick bite was after you remove the tick, and you're going to put a bandage on it, or you're going to wrap it overnight. And what that'll do is that'll draw all the poison out at the source. Just like if you got a snake bite, or I even tell people to do this with vaccines. If they don't want to get a vaccine, but they're traveling overseas and they have to get the malaria vaccine to go to Africa or whatever, you know, I'm like, put a clay pack over that spot. You can draw the poisons out at the source. So that's part of the protocol, is how to do a clay pack and what to put in it. And then the herbs I have, one is called Nutra BRL. BRL stands for Borrelia. Borrelia is the bacteria that is Lyme disease. So the Nutra BRL has the herbs in it that destroy Lyme. And another one called IS-Bor. So those are the two formulas I have people take internally, high dosages, almost like you take an antibiotic treatment. Again, you also would put those herbs in the clay pack. And then I do also, as part of the protocol, have people take advanced immune support. It's just our best immune formula. It's got the quercetin and the C and the D and the E and, you know, all the vitamins you need to build and strengthen your immune system. Because at the end of the day, 10 people can get bit by a tick. And 5 of them could have a major problem from it, and 5 may not. Because it really comes down to not do ticks carry disease. Is that person's immune system strong enough to handle the poison that's being shot into their bodies?
I see.
Like, why do some people have major reactions to bug bites, and some people are like, I got bit by a bug. Nothing, you know? And some people have really bad reactions.
Same with a bee sting.
Bee sting, wasp sting, you know, any of those. It all comes down to the strength and the health of your immune system. So bottom line is, tick season is going to be bad this year. It's on purpose. It's man-made. Avoid the vaccine like a plague. The whole thing, that it's a farce. It's just a way to sell something that's not going to work and going to further poison you. And if you want a good tick protocol, either for prevention or to have it on hand if you get bit by a tick, get our protocol at Spirit of Health.
And that includes the clay pack?
And that includes the clay. Well, it's just 4 ounces of clay, of just the powdered clay. And then I give you instructions on how to combine the liquids to make a paste. Right. And then you put that paste on right at the spot. And then, like I said, you put a bandage, or I'll have people even like saran wrap it, overnight before bed. Well, if you did get bit by a venomous snake, I would encourage you to go to the emergency room. For sure. Yeah. But after... Wasps? After the emergency's over, anything else, wasp, bee sting, spider bite. My wife, before we got married, when we met, she got bit by a brown recluse spider.
Oh, that's bad.
On her thigh.
Oh.
And 3 days later, it was taking over her whole leg. Like, you could see it turning colors and going across her entire thigh. It was spreading. And I did a clay pack, and we put a bunch of clay on there, and I wrapped it in saran wrap, and literally the next morning, that thing reduced to the size of a dime.
Really?
It completely pulled all of that out of there.
That's something that back in the day, my grandmother, I stepped on a nail that was in a board.
Yep.
But she just soaked my foot in Epsom salt.
Right.
But now the clay packs work 10 times better.
Yes, I had a friend who just had their son step on a rusty nail, and we had him do a foot bath with hydrogen peroxide and sea salt. I had him do a little cold laser red light that I have on his foot that I have at the store, and had him do a clay pack on it overnight, and he was perfectly fine.
Jeez.
No tetanus shot.
That is amazing. Okay, next one, because I know we have a big show. Without a blood test, how do I know what I'm deficient in? We were talking about supplements last time you were on.
Right.
And so his question was, without a blood test to tell me, how do I know I'm deficient or I have enough of all of the vitamins?
You really don't. I mean, I really would encourage you to get blood test. A basic comprehensive blood work is not going to cover a lot. It's going to check, like ours, for example, will check vitamin D. It'll check B12. It'll check the electrolytes, so magnesium, potassium, calcium, sodium. But it's not going to check all the B vitamins. It's not going to check, CoQ10 and amino acids, essential fatty acids. That we have a blood test called a micronutrient zoomer. And that micronutrient zoomer literally checks every vitamin and mineral deficiency possible in your blood. And so that's actually one of my favorite tests. So if you can afford some labs.
And then you know what you're deficient in.
Oh, yeah. You'll know if you're low in essential fatty acids, if you're low in certain amino acids, if you're low in all the vitamins, all the minerals, all the B vitamins. It's very, very, very comprehensive.
Okay. Two more. So can you overdose on supplements? That was the question. Okay.
Yeah, totally can. I think you do have to be smart and you have to be careful. I mean, we were going to talk about iron today. I mean, I don't think people should be taking iron supplements, especially from the doctor. They give you the wrong form. And so I definitely think people can take too much. Take too much of the wrong thing. I think a lot of people are taking too much vitamin D. I think people are taking too many isolate vitamins like Centrum and some of this stuff from drugstores and these big box stores that are just pretty much synthetic, like horrible quality stuff. So it's just like you're putting more and more chemicals in your body, and like, is that really doing you any good?
Water soluble vitamins like vitamin C, can you take too much of that?
Yes and no, because if you're taking ascorbic acid, which isn't a great form, and you're taking high doses of that, I don't think that's good. I would rather you get it from a food source or take a better quality supplement source of it. The thing is the body doesn't need a lot. It just needs the right form. And so we're either not taking it at all, or we're taking it in the wrong form because we're buying cheap stuff at Walmart or wherever. Right. And so we're not actually getting it. Let's just say it this way. A good supplement should be getting your vitamins and minerals from food. That would be a good supplement. I could give you tons of examples. Maybe we'll talk about it when we talk about iron, but like one of the best supplements in the world that everybody used to take,
cod liver
50,
oil.
70 years ago, yes, is cod liver oil. And everybody should be taking cod liver oil. And I gave it to my kids this morning. And everybody should be taking cod liver oil because we're not getting the nutrients we need from food anymore. And we're taking, I think, oftentimes the wrong supplements.
I did learn that broccoli has a very high concentrated vitamin C content.
Yes, and so do peppers.
Really?
Bell peppers, your cayenne pepper, your hot peppers are loaded in vitamin C.
Oh, okay.
Extremely. And then, of course, citrus.
Right.
So food is always the best medicine, right? We've heard that. Food is medicine.
Okay. Next one, and then we'll get to iron. I am 75 years old. I can't leave the home. If I order online, how do I know what to get with different varieties?
Sure, I would.
Should they call?
Yes, I would say call the store. Our staff is very educated, and you can tell us, hey, I'm having trouble sleeping, or I'm having stomach pain, or I'm having some inflammation, or whatever, and we'll make sure we get you the right things.
816-492-5648. Okay, that was our list of questions. And now we are going to dive into iron.
Yes.
So we briefly talked about it last week. And tell me about iron.
Well, I will start with this way. I do lots and lots of posts on Instagram, of course, Facebook, and YouTube. I have well over 1,000 videos on YouTube, right? So I do all these videos on all these topics. You never know what's really going to be popular or take off or whatever. And I did this video that went crazy viral, like the most views I've ever had on a video ever. And I started the video by saying, stop taking iron if you're anemic. That was my tagline. And that video just took off. I mean, I don't know. It was like in a week, it had over 100,000 views. It just blew up, right? And there was a lot of people on there going, man, I've heard this and I agree with you. And it's just, a lot of people aren't talking about it. So the problem with iron is a lot of people are anemic. The problem is it's not because they're not getting enough iron. In fact, everybody is getting way, way too much iron in their diet. Everybody, even somebody who's anemic. So, Vaughn, explain that. All right, so from a dietary standpoint, you need 1/10 of 1 milligram of iron roughly a day for human function.
1/10 of
1/10 of a milligram. That's basically nothing, right? You could get that in a piece of food you didn't even know contained iron, right? Like, oh, that's in a Brussels sprout. I didn't even know that. Like,
it's in a steak.
It's impossible. Well, yeah, there's way more than that in a steak, right? So the problem is when it was discovered in around 1940, I think it might have been 1939, that iron was a quote unquote necessary nutrient, which it is. They started fortifying foods with iron. And still today,
yeah, they do that with cereal.
When you buy cereal, when you buy milk, when you buy bread, when you buy crackers, I could name 100 things, right? Iron fortified. That is a nightmare. And that was one of the biggest mistakes we ever made, and we haven't corrected it, even though we know now that that's wrong. So the body needs very, very little dietary iron. We're fortifying everything with iron. If you read a label and it says enriched flour, that contains iron. It doesn't even say iron in it. It just says enriched flour.
How would you know?
You don't, right? So we have all this excessive amount of iron in the body, and then people are anemic and they're taking more iron. And on top of that, when doctors recommend iron, what do they give you? They give you the form of iron that would be like taking a couple of nails and putting it in a cup of water and letting it sit overnight and then drinking the water. Right? Elemental iron that comes from the earth. Like, that's not how you get iron. You get iron through food. You get iron through food. And so the real problem is that we're deficient in copper. So to fix the iron problem, and there's a lot to this, so we'll see how far we get into it. But to fix the iron problem, you have to check your serum iron. You have to check your ferritin levels. That's your stored iron in your tissues. You have to check your copper levels. You have to check magnesium, because the problem isn't that we're not getting enough iron. The problem is the iron is trapped in the tissues. It's really interesting. I read a book called The Science and Fine Art of Fasting, written by Dr. Herbert Shelton, who monitored over 40,000 people doing water fasts. Now, this is decades ago. I can't remember when that book was written, at 50s, 60s. This is, 60, 70 years ago. He said in this book, again, written 70 years ago, I have never seen a case of anemia that wasn't cured within 10 days of water fasting. So that's a confirmation of what I'm saying, is that the iron's there. The iron's in your body.
What, does the water draw it out?
The iron's in your tissues, but it can't be released because of so many imbalances in the human body, because of our current lifestyle, our current diet. So no, it's not that water draws it out, but vitamin C is important for regulating iron properly. Copper's the most crucial mineral, and our soils have been completely stripped of copper, and it's very hard to get dietary copper anymore. Magnesium, adrenal stress, vitamin A deficiency, again, the cod liver oil, inflammation in the body. Here's another kicker. Parasites, especially protozoan parasites, and other infectious disease organisms like Lyme, we're talking about Lyme disease, Candida yeast organisms, people have chronic Candida issues. All of
what
these,
is that?
It's a yeast, it's a fungal overgrowth.
Okay.
All of these infectious disease organisms eat your iron. So this is another reason people are anemic, is they have infections and they have bacteria and other things in their body that are eating the iron out of their hemoglobin. So what we're doing, we're giving people iron infusions. We're giving people more iron supplements. We're feeding the Lyme disease and the parasites and the Candida in their body. The person's still chronically anemic, and we're just adding fuel to the fire over and over and over again.
On that note, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to continue this discussion because I have some questions here about iron and the importance of it, but not to ignore it because your body does need it.
It does, yep.
All right, we'll be right back after these messages. Dr. Vaughn from Spirit of Health, 5901 Main Street, Grandview, Missouri, spiritofhealthkc.com, and we're talking about the importance of iron, but then also some myths around it.
Yes.
Okay. What does iron do for your body?
Okay, yeah, iron is important because it carries this oxygen.
Okay.
Right? It carries oxygen through your red blood cells to your body. So it's crucial. You're going to be tired if you don't have enough iron. So we need it. You're right. But what people have to understand is we don't need... Well, I am fine with people getting it through food. Right? We should be eating... There's nothing wrong with eating steak. There's nothing wrong with eating foods high in iron. Again, the problem is we should not be eating iron-fortified foods. We should be avoiding all iron-fortified foods, and we should avoid taking iron supplements. Take things that are food-based for your iron. Now, menstruating women, they might need more because they actually are having some blood loss.
Right.
But in general, your red blood cells, now people might have heard this, your red blood cells are dying and renewing themselves every single day. Right? I can't remember what the statistic is, but it's 100,000 or some very high number amount of red blood cells are recycled, die, and are regenerated every single day. There's iron in every single one of those red blood cells. So your body should be recycling and reusing the iron that's already there. And again, with iron-fortified foods and people taking iron supplements, we do not have an iron deficiency problem. We have an absorption problem.
Okay, and if our bodies can't absorb, and by the way, sources of iron include lean meats, seafood, poultry. Tell me if I'm leaving anything out. Spinach, lentils, beans, and even dried fruits.
Any leafy green.
Okay.
It's going to have a decent amount of iron in it. Yeah, and again, you don't need a lot from a food standpoint. But if you are deficient and you want to get iron, I have people take beef liver capsules.
Oh, you told me about that on our last show.
Yes, beef liver is a superfood. Beef liver is high in heme iron, right? Heme iron is animal-based.
Explain the difference between heme and non-heme.
Sure, heme iron is animal-based.
Okay.
Non-heme iron is plant-based. Okay, both are fine, but I definitely think the reality is we're going to absorb it and utilize it better from an animal source.
We always do.
We do.
So when you look
do.
at protein and stuff.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I love a good filet mignon just like the rest of us, right?
Right.
I think it is important to get it from food, and I think we should not be supplementing it, but to properly absorb it. Again, to fix the iron problem in the body, there's two main things you need to look at. Number one, what is the deficiencies you have that are keeping iron from releasing from your tissues and being utilized properly? And I will tell you the number one thing is copper. Copper. How
do you know if you're deficient in copper?
You don't really. I mean, I guess you could look up the symptoms of copper deficiency, but I would really say just do the blood test. I mean, we check it.
Okay, yeah. You'll check it.
We check it. Oh, yeah, it's standard. I mean, every blood work we do for every human, we check copper. Because as I learn these things and I'm like, oh, that's critically important for human function, it's going to be part of our basic blood work that everybody does.
And how do you then take a dietary copper.
Yeah, copper. Let me tell you the ways to get copper. So you can look up high copper foods. Avocado actually is a food that's pretty high in copper. So there are some foods that have a decent amount of copper, but because the copper deficiency is such a big deal, I do recommend supplement it. So our number one product is called Recuperate IQ. Recuperate, like, you know what recuperate means. Recuperate IQ. So that has copper, boron, turmeric, and spirulina. And it's designed to help correct this iron-copper imbalance. Has 2 milligrams of copper in it. So that's the best one, is the Recuperate IQ. Now, I literally have heard stories, people I've seen personally, and other stories I've heard when I went to their conference in February, where people will take this supplement and literally feel like lightning is moving through their body and through their head down to their toes. Because copper is such a crucial mineral for energy transport in the body. And I always say, hey, what's Duracell's slogan? The copper top battery, right? So copper, put it in your garden. It'll keep bugs and fungus from taking over your plants in your garden. People put it in their pools to disinfect their pools.
Wait. How do they put it in their garden?
I just buy copper wire from the hardware store, and I stick it in the ground, in the garden bed.
I see.
It works. Okay, how did they used to disinfect water back in the day? They throw a penny or a piece of copper in it, or they make things out of copper vessels. Right?
I did hear that.
All over the world, people would make things out of copper vessels and drink water out of copper. We have a whole set of copper mugs at our house. Copper, y'all, if you get nothing out of today, start taking copper. Seriously, it'll change your life. Okay, so let me tell you another couple ways to get copper. Beef liver capsules have a good amount of copper in it. Beef liver does. Beef liver is a superfood, period.
So they have copper and iron.
And iron and all your B vitamins. It's everything. Beef liver's legit. So, I always joke, what did people, parents torture their kids with in the 30s and the 40s and the 50s and the 60s? Cod liver oil and eating liver and onions, right? Yeah. The kids hated it, and the parents made them do it. Why? Because they actually knew it was good for them, healthy for them, would keep them strong, would keep their immune system strong. We've lost all that. We've lost all those crucially important things. I did want to mention one other thing. There's liquid chlorophyll. The one we sell is called Chlorafresh, but there's different liquid chlorophylls. It comes from alfalfa, and it's liquid, and you can just add it to your water, and it's also very, very high in copper. I think 2 tablespoons has like 5.3 milligrams of copper. So
chlorophyll.
Yes, chlorophyll. It's green liquid. It's a kidney cleanser, blood cleanser. They kind of joke about it, like about being helping with your, like a body odor eliminator, like because it cleans your blood.
Do you take it every day?
Yeah, I just put a little bit in my water every morning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, there's a lot to this. The thing we haven't really gotten into, I don't know if you had a question from somebody there, but about infectious disease, like the parasites, that's another big deal. So let me finish this statement. I'd mentioned there's 2 main things if you have anemia. 1, check your deficiencies. You need copper, you need vitamin A from cod liver oil, you need magnesium, you need healthy adrenal function. You have to absorb iron properly and have it released from the tissues. That's 1. 2, check for infectious disease. Okay, if you have a Candida fungal overgrowth, if you have a parasite issue, if you have Lyme disease, there's other organisms too. They eat iron, and you will stay in a chronic state of anemia no matter how much iron you take. And that was one of the reasons my post went so viral, is because I talked about this. I said, why are people taking iron and they're still chronically anemic? This is why.
Yeah.
The bugs are eating their iron. And here people are going to the doctor, and the doctor's like, oh, you're low in iron. You need all this X amount of iron per day, which is totally false. And they're feeding their disease.
Wow.
For some people, it's a nightmare. I have a friend, last point, I have a friend who works with cancer patients. And he told me, he goes, Vaughn, I would never, ever, ever give a cancer patient iron.
Well, apparently I eat enough iron.
Because everybody who has cancer is full of infectious disease, most likely parasites. And if you give them iron, you're just feeding their cancer.
Really?
Yes. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. People need to know about this.
Well, that's what we're here for. So, to explain these things, and if you have any questions, you can always go to thisiskansascity.com. At the bottom of the homepage, type in your questions there. You don't even have to put your name. We'll get those questions out for you, and next time the doctor comes in, we can answer those questions. Usually we have questions left over from last time you were here, which we did today.
Yep.
But you can always do that. So let me ask, if somebody needs or they want to get a blood test, what's the best? Can they do that online or do they call?
They would have to call. Yeah, we don't have it available where anybody can just get it online, but you can call our office and anybody can order blood work, even if you're not a patient. So that's kind of a cool thing that we offer, and you'll actually get a really good, cool report. But if you actually want to get an interpretation or work with us, that is separate. But anybody can call our office and get our comprehensive blood work. And for what it is, it's honestly, I think it's very affordable for what it is.
And then you go to a lab, and then that's where they draw the blood, and then they send it in.
Yeah, it's called a requisition form. So you're just getting a piece of paper, walking into LabCorp, and that's it. They do it all.
Where's LabCorp?
There's like 7, 8 of them in Kansas City. They're everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you want
I go to the
one
in the Lee Summit. The gals there are awesome, by the way.
If you want that, blood test, or you're looking to get that, they'll answer your questions. Call them at 816-492-5648. And if you miss that number, just go to spiritofhealthkc.com, and their number's on that webpage,
too. You bet. Yep.
So I'd recommend that you would call and get that, because then you'll know, right?
Yes.
You'll know right.
You'll know that you know that you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And, if somebody's anemic, I got to look, does it look like they have parasites? All right. Is their copper low?
How do you know
is
if
their
you
vitamin
have
D low?
parasites?
Eosinophils.
Is there a test for that?
It's just in the blood work.
Oh, it's in the same blood work?
Yeah, if people have high eosinophils, they have protozoan parasites in their blood. And that could be why they're anemic. So this is why, you have to do a comprehensive blood work to see what's going on with the person. You go to a doctor, and they're either doing very, very general markers that aren't enough to really tell you what's going on, or they're just checking specific markers for why you went in. You go in for thyroid, and they're just checking 7 markers. We check 80 markers with every single person that walks in.
Wow. So, is it possible to get deficient? Let me see how much time we have. We have about a minute left. So think about this when we come back. Is it possible to get the consequences of iron deficiency? Do people sometimes, no matter what, have a deficiency in iron for some reason?
I'm going to answer that when we come back.
Yeah, let's answer that when we come back. We'll be right back after these messages. Talking about iron right now, and the difference between what I would explain, what we get. Like when I did the research on the show, I just pulled up a lot of the reports that are out there, and obviously not one of them mentioned copper. Not one.
Okay.
That's because they say...
Even in mainstream medicine, they do admit that copper deficiency is a problem with anemia.
Oh, they
Maybe
do?
not in what you pulled up. And I'm just saying it is well recognized. It's just most doctors don't know about it and they don't talk about it.
It says that iron deficiency, too little iron. How is it possible to get too little iron?
It's not. It's impossible to get too little iron.
You have to eat something.
Right.
So if
everything you're eating has iron in it.
If a kid had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich,
he's eating iron.
He's eating iron.
If you eat pizza, you're eating iron.
Yeah.
You're eating iron. You guys, everything you eat every day, you're eating iron.
If you have store-bought cereal, you're eating that. If you have...
But it's the problem with all those fortified foods is it's the wrong form of iron.
Oh, is that right?
It's the dangerous, oxidative, damaging type of iron.
They're just playing on the fear factor.
I have a gal right now who's on this protocol, a protocol to fix the iron copper problem. This is kind of funny. Not funny. It's kind of, I don't know. It's just crazy. Like, she showed me a picture, but in the toilet bowl, out of her urine is flakes of sediment. I think it's minerals. And they don't even move or flush. It's like metals. It's like heavy deposits coming out of her urine.
What is it?
Could be the iron, could be mineral buildup, whatever it is. But by getting the copper and the cod liver on the right things in her body's now flushing whatever these mineral deposits are, or iron deposits, or whatever in her body is flushing out of her kidneys.
When you mentioned the cod liver oil, It's hard to find now. You used to be able to buy it just about any grocery store or drugstore out there.
Right.
But you carry it at
Oh, yeah.
Spirit
We have
of Health.
3 different kinds. Totally.
Okay. And you just take a tablespoon of it, right, every morning?
You can do a liquid. We have a gel that we like that's like a cinnamon flavor. That's what I give my kids. There's capsules. If you just don't want to deal with the taste at all, you can just take the capsules. So we have all 3 different forms, liquid, gel, or capsules.
And what's the benefit again of cod liver oil?
So vitamin A,
Okay.
vitamin D,
Yeah.
building immune function, and it's going to help with this iron absorption problem. And just like beef liver capsules, because it's cod liver, it's going to have all your
Cod from the fish?
Yes.
Okay.
It's the liver of the codfish, right? That's why it's cod liver oil. It's also going to have B vitamins and all these other nutrients in it.
I see. I wonder if you get those nutrients from just eating cod.
If you ate the liver.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't know where to look.
Right. You think of cod, you hear this word cod liver oil. Do you actually ever stop to thinking like, oh, that's a codfish and it's his liver? We're not thinking about that.
No. It's like goose liver pate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, foie gras.
Yeah.
Right, in French, yeah.
They have to call it something different than it is, so they call it like Braunschweiger or whatever.
Or a tripe.
Yes.
Which is pig intestines.
Oh.
Yum. Anyway, I know that's gross, but
but it is important, and I think we've answered a lot of the questions. And so basically what it comes down to is that everyone has enough iron in their body.
Yes.
Well, I won't say everyone, but 99% of us.
Yes.
Have enough iron. It's just in the tissue.
Correct.
And not being absorbed into the blood.
Correct. And or it's being eaten by infectious disease organisms in your body.
And those infectious disease organisms can be microscopic.
Correct.
Right?
Protozoan parasites, malaria. Okay? Look it up. Malaria is known to eat iron out of your body.
And that's why
it's a protozoan parasite.
People get so sick. And
yeah, it can kill you in less than 3 days.
Right.
Yeah, because it takes over your body, consumes all your iron, your system shuts down.
Oh.
Yeah, it's bad news.
So when you're thinking of parasites and all that, don't just think of ticks and things like that, because they are microscopic. Where do you get those?
Everywhere. I mean, cats are the worst, but any kind of animal can have parasites. Eating raw food, sushi, things like that is going to have parasites. Even, fruits and vegetables that aren't cleaned properly, dog poop and stuff like that. So, I mean, everybody's going to encounter parasites. It's not about the parasite. It's about the strength of your immune system. I can't stress that enough. That's why you need sunshine. That's why you need cod liver oil. That's why you need to eat clean food. That's why you need to do a cleanse, because our immune systems are weak, which is why we're the most chronically diseased culture ever. And going against us, we have man-made bioweapons coming all over like COVID and Lyme and all these other things that, evil humans are trying to destroy us with.
Don't you have a supplement in your store? Maybe I made this up, but you can answer it. But that is for specifically the immune system.
Oh yeah, well the advanced immune support,
yes,
which is part of our new Lyme protocol, is our best immune formula. But we have a whole immune section with all kinds of immune stuff. Silver, I think. Silver is very, very, very important for helping against all the stuff that's coming out against us. Oregano is probably one of my favorite herbs on the planet for immune function. Olive leaf.
Is that just getting the oregano from the wild-crafted oregano?
Yeah, it's a concentrated liquid oregano, so it's way stronger than just getting the straight herb. And the one we get, I only get oregano from North American Herb and Spice because they harvest it in the mountains of Greece in over 5,000 feet high. So it's the strongest oregano known in the world.
I see.
It's different than just getting oregano from a local farmer who's growing oregano.
Right.
Big difference.
Right.
Yes.
Because they're selling oregano seeds now everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean,
oregano's important.
Yeah. I grew it last year, but boy, it was totally, and I dried it, to keep it, but the taste was totally different since I got yours.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like night and day.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
People don't probably really know the real flavor of true oregano.
Yeah, especially if you buy it at, one of your big box grocery stores. That stuff is who older than the hills. You don't even know how old that stuff is.
Right.
Right? Yeah. Jeez.
Well, hey, you're going to be on in a couple weeks here?
I think so. I think I'm back in 2 weeks.
Back in 2 weeks.
Yep.
And we'll answer some of these questions and then some of the questions that you send in. And feel free to send any other questions in if you'd like to know any answers to any of the questions that we might have.
That'd be great.
So, Dr. Vaughn Lawrence,